What's going on, everybody? We made it to the semifinals of the playoffs. If you're watching, I'm assuming you're probably in the top four in a lot of your leagues. If not, you're such a degenerate, and hats off to you. We got some good stuff coming up. I think we got some good some trades that we made in some of our leagues. I think we can kind of discuss some other kind of hypothetical trades for how to help you win, get through to the finals. Um, Man, I was looking at my teams just earlier today, and I was looking 47% of my teams that didn't have a first round bye advanced to the semifinals. It was a tough week. Usually try to get around 50%, so it was close. If you include my bye teams, I got up like 60%, but speaks to the power of having a bye week, obviously. But
Yeah, it does.
man,
Um,
how's it going, dude?
Good. Luckily, I had a pretty good week. I think I was like 8-3. But unfortunately, I had a down year in general. So, if I didn't win a lot of those, I would have been kind of screwed. So I've got quite a few semifinals, but I also was looking at some of my leagues, and like two of them I have Tua, and okay, I'm screwed
Oh,
now. So like,
oh, we'll get to it.
I really was hanging on a thread anyway, and like I just luckily made it into the playoffs, and like there's one team I'm like I don't know how this happened. Thankfully, I've got all my picks and everything, so this is all just the fun of it. But yeah, like I was surprised. Like Sleeper gives you your percentage of how much you can win, and I had too much in the red. I'll just say it's like not cool to look at, but
Yeah,
whatever.
dude. Um, I was looking through too today, and I was like, maybe if I'm feeling generous, it was probably about half of these leagues I'm projected
Yeah,
to win. Now, projections mean almost nothing because, like, I think Achan was projected like 20 to 30 points last week, and obviously he sucked. Granted, some of that wasn't his fault. Tua did horrible things, and how he's benched. It's funny you
yep.
mentioned you had two in a couple leagues. There's one league in particular I had. I went undefeated in the regular season, had a first round bye, and I no joke lost Patrick Mahomes and Tua in that same league. And I'm like, well, that was fun while it lasted. Sometimes
Dang it.
fantasy football is horrible. I made some trades to get. So I had Mariota too, which was nice. That was lucky. And then I think I sent a third for Mariota earlier, and then I paid up to get Jacoby Brissett to try to just get me through. I was like, I can't let it go to waste.
Yeah.
So we'll see,
Um,
dude. It
I
sucks.
do worry. I don't want to jump the gun a little bit, but I guess we can go into Tua.
Jump him.
With Kevin, asking is Achan channeling all that energy for this week? I don't know because I'm very worried with Quinn Ewers playing. Like I get that they're probably going to lean on Achan, but I thought they'd do that last week and the other weeks before. Like he's been really good, so I just worry like kind of the
Mhm.
mindset of the whole offense and things like that. Obviously, they looked really bad last week. Pittsburgh has a really good defense, so but also like
Sometimes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but also I think Mike Daniel's just trying to play for his job, so they're shaking up anything. Right? They played pretty well, and then just fell flat on Monday.
Yeah, it's funny, we were in the Discord and we were chatting about like, "Oh, okay, like how do you feel about Darren Waller?" And I was like, honestly, there's only like four tight ends I would really play over Darren Waller this week. And then no joke, probably like an hour after that, like Quinn Ewers announced that he was gonna be starting, and I was like, on second thought, I don't want anything to do with any of the Dolphins.
Yeah,
Um, I
I
don't
mean,
feel good about starting Jalen Waddle. I have him in a couple leagues that I kind of need him, and like I feel like I kind of have to play him still, and just like hope that maybe someone misses. I mean, it is Cincinnati; they might miss a tackle, and he's fast enough he could take one to the house. But dude, I don't feel good about any of it. Like I saw because Ewers came in. It was like earlier in the season against the
yeah,
Browns, and basically like he played like 12 snaps, and they were almost all just horrendous. I think he took like 2 sacks. I think he
yeah,
fumbled twice. Like it was a nightmare fuel. And then he had a random like 40-yard bomb that looked pretty good. And so it's just like, well, I don't know. Maybe it's bad. Maybe it's not. I don't know. We'll,
yeah.
we'll
I
see
mean,
this week.
I, I don't feel good about any of them either. Like, I feel okay
Mhm.
starting Achan. Like, I don't know how I could wrap my head around benching him. He's got a great matchup against
You can't. Yeah.
Bengals, right? So you can't really. So that's the only one I feel good about, right? I don't know what to think with Waller. I mean, he likes to fall in the end zone or whatever, but I think that was more of a connection with Tua. And then
Uh huh.
I think Ewers, obviously, I think it's going to be a lot of dump offs. So I do worry about Waddle. Just depends on your options, I guess. But I think there's quite a few better options in Waddle this week.
Yeah, dude, I think there's probably a couple leagues where you're gonna have to play Jalen Waddle. I think with Waller, there's gonna be options that you could play. Like just trying to look up some of my tight end rankings projections. Like I think even if you go down to let's say like Theo Johnson, I think that
I
would be
mean,
a good play.
yeah,
Jawan Johnson, I think Harold Fannin would be nice. Dalton
yep.
Schultz has been pretty good, and Dallas Goedert just scored 2 touchdowns against the Raiders last week. Or no, he scored one. I think he almost scored a second one when he just dropped a wide
Yeah,
open
yeah.
pass. Honestly, dude, AJ Barner has been good for Seattle. I at least trust Sam Darnold somewhat more.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm assuming we'll talk about the Rams Seahawks later, but I do worry about that being Thursday night.
have you
But
seen the
I'm
weather
assuming,
forecast for that, dude?
yeah, terrible.
Supposedly there's like 40-mile-an-hour winds going
Yeah,
on.
I'm worried. I made a trade to get Kyron. Like I'm worried, and so we can just talk about this real quick. Kevin, he
Let's
said
do
he's
it.
contemplating playing Parkinson. Excuse me, holy crap. Over Kelsey.
Multiple
Um,
Parkinsons. Uh,
I don't think that's crazy. I just worry about the amount of offense on Thursday
I
night with that
wouldn't
wind,
do
and
that.
yeah, I don't
So
think I would do it either.
there's a couple things on the Parkinson over Kelsey. I would say one, Gardner Minshew. We know he'll sling it, dude. Like he's not gun shy for Kansas City. I also the other thing is Rashee Rice in the concussion protocol. There's no guarantee that he's even going to play, and if he doesn't play, dude, Travis Kelsey's going to get just like probably like
Peppered,
10
yeah,
targets, right? He's gonna get a ton of targets. That's what Minshew does. Like he finds a guy he likes and he hucks it to him over and over again for better or worse, right? So
yeah.
um
I think just the
I couldn't play
matchups
Parkinson
and
over Kelsey.
situation there, like you got to play Kelsey over Parkinson there.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I don't think you could do that. I saw this. This is from Otel_FF on
No,
Twitter.
just let's not talk about that one. Let's just move
We got
on.
to talk about
This is
this.
rough.
So Devon Achan with Tua over the last 2 years, he's averaged 22.5 fantasy points per game.
Bad.
Without Tua, 8.6. That's like almost a third of the amount of points that he scores when Tua is not on the field for him. And I think a lot of it, like, and we were talking about this in Discord too, like defense is like as bad as Tua is, like he can still fairly competently pass the ball on an NFL team. Quinn
Sometimes.
Ewers and like Snoop Huntley, whoever it is, like they don't and they don't have defenses don't have to respect the pass, and they just say, we're gonna put 8 dudes in the box, and if this guy beats us through the air, so be it. But we're not gonna let Achan do it, and so I'm worried. Unless Ewers comes out and like can basically throw the ball like competently, which I don't have a lot of faith in. Like he really wasn't that good at in college at Texas. He was a 7th round pick. Dude, I don't know.
I mean,
I'm so worried about.
Yeah, I mean, he's very lucky he
like,
gets the Bengals. Like that's probably the only thing going for him. So, yeah, I would like. This is really not good, right? But it's soup. It's just you probably don't have better options than playing Achan because there's an opportunity that he could score, and now that turns into 13 points, right, or 14 points, just depending on scoring. So for me, I get it.
Yeah.
But I think the matchup's good enough to I think he should get double digits.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'll say it is.
nervous,
I'm not putting money on it. I mean, I am
No.
actually with all these fantasy playoffs, but like I'm not gonna go out and bet. So like I don't know. It's rough.
All right. One other thing we probably need to talk to Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL this week.
No way.
Yeah, not great. The Chiefs also got eliminated from the playoffs. I guess I don't think it would have mattered with Mahomes out, anyways. Dude, his value's all over the place right now. I've seen offers that I've gotten for him that other people have done. Like, I pulled this screenshot from Fantasy Calc just this morning. I mean, Mahomes got traded straight up for Justin Herbert. That's probably one of the better ones I've seen. Mahomes straight up for Brock Purdy. That one I've seen more often than not.
Didn't you do
tearing
one?
down. I think I did that exact trade.
Yeah,
actually. Dude, where did you move Mahomes down or are you kind of keeping him as is, right? Because like, I know he is a little bit older. I mean, he's 30, right? And given the fact that the ACL is in late December, it's going to put some of his recovery. Like I think he'll be back in time for the season, but an underrated part of Mahomes' game is he scrambles quite a bit, and I think that's going to impact him next year. And I don't think people are really factoring that in. They're just like, oh, Mahomes will be Mahomes still, like he's a quarterback, whatever. But like if he's hampering, he oftentimes he'll run for 30, 40 yards a game, and that's an extra 3 or 4 points, which can be a big deal. That's the difference between being like a mid to low QB1 and being like a mid QB2 sometimes. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on Mahomes there?
Yeah. So last year I was very down on Mahomes. I think it was like the first time I was kind of, I think we were talking about like, I don't know. I think they just only care about scoring, winning games and things like that, right? And then this year totally changed. Their defense got worse, and he was more of the Patrick Mahomes of old, right? And so, but kind of what you said there is like a lot of that was running, and he was sometime like probably over half of the games he was the top rusher for Kansas City, right? So I think it's even though he may be back in the beginning of the season, I think it's going to take at least the first month to get back up to game speed, right? Meaning all the way up to running, even if he does run the same as he did. So I am worried, and there's a couple quarterbacks I would now put up over him, right? Like a Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Like I would do the Patrick Mahomes for Brock Purdy straight up, right? I think you can make a case for either side. So I think that is basically where his value has like kind of dropped to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that to me is more equivalent, right? I think Patrick Mahomes for Justin Herbert is a very, very good swap there, right? In my opinion, if you're getting Justin Herbert, I think you're going in the positive direction with Mahomes. You're kind of maybe possibly going in the negative direction, meaning we don't know exactly what's going to happen when he comes back. And I think, like you said, the running has really helped him this year quite a bit, right? I think brought him back to that solidified top 6 fantasy quarterback. So I think I would move him more towards the 10 to 14 range, right? 10 to 12. I think, maybe closer to 8, right? I think there's only about probably 5 to 6 quarterbacks that I'd take before him, but I do have hesitations and I worry, right? I would rather just kind of sit on it than, make a move and get, I don't know, like really drop too much. You know what I'm trying to say? I feel like what Wes just said in the chat, I feel like getting a Mahomes for Dak is good. Getting a
great.
Brock Purdy for Mahomes is good. Like those things are all good. Like it sounds crazy a couple months ago, but what happens is when people get injuries, like their value drastically changes, right?
Especially right now, because people that had them are probably in the semis and are like, well, crap, I really need a quarterback. And so you're way more willing to make a move, even if you're just like, I know I'm going to eat some value here, but like, I can't, I came all this way. I'm not going to back down now.
Exactly.
I think for me, there's like 7 quarterbacks that I would definitively take over him right now. I just was one of my rankings, like Josh Allen, Lamar, Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Burrow, Drake May, and Jackson Dart are the 7 that I would pretty definitively take over him. After that, I think he's fair game. I will say, like, as you were talking, I had the thought, Mahomes was like, this was the first year that he was kind of back up in that top 6 conversation. And I think a lot of it's because the defense for Kansas City hasn't been as good as it has been in years past. And the run game is horrendous. I do think that the Chiefs are going to address that in the offseason. And there's a decent chance that the passing volume comes down for Mahomes again if they get a better run game going, established, if the defense can kind of solidify a little bit. So there's a decent chance that he was going to dip back down to what he had been doing previously anyways. So I'm a little cautious. If I was in a startup today, I would probably avoid Mahomes unless he just like crazy fell. But
dude, I'm 100% with you, right? The Chiefs are a good organization, right? I think it's more of an anomaly that they missed the playoffs than they make the playoffs, right? So they're going to address all these things, and I think the kind of the Mahomes of the last, like before this year, the last 2 years were more of what he is going to be, right? They don't care. All they care about is winning, right? And so this year he had to put that more into his hands because of the defense, right? And so once they get that figured out, I think their defense will be better. Their offense won't have to, front the bill most of it.
Fair enough. A couple quick injuries on some wide receivers. I just wanted to touch on Devontae Adams. He's going to be out Thursday night with a hamstring injury. That sucks too. I had a week that led to one of my trades that we'll get to in a minute. With him being out, besides Puka, like, are there any pass catchers you want in that game, or like at least for the LA side of things? Like, I don't really feel like
JSN.
Tutu Atwell is going to
No,
be.
but outside of that, obviously, not really. No, like Parkinson has been playing well, but obviously, I think those touchdowns are obviously propping his points up. Like, I think it's going to be a low scoring game. Both defenses are very, very good. So I just worry how much offense is going to happen. And then the weather, like all things, considered, like usually divisional games are low scoring. Thursday night game, add that. In Seattle, add that. And then the weather, right? So I think there's quite a bit. Like, I think Puka, Kyren, JSN, like I'm even thinking about possibly sitting Stafford if I have a better or safer option, which is tough because he's been playing so well. He probably will be the MVP unless the Rams, suddenly crash out. So he's been playing awesome, right? But like, this is the type of game that he could just, 15, 16 points. That's not going to get it done. That's not going to get you into the finals.
So you might think I'm crazy, and anyone listening is probably going to think I'm crazy, or they've listened and they know I'm crazy. But I actually benched a Matthew Stafford this week for JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, no,
call me a sicko, but I'm back in on JJ McCarthy, man.
Yeah, like he played well last week.
Last 2 weeks, he's been good.
Yeah, off my head, I don't know exactly who they're playing, but the matchup's probably much better.
They play the Giants.
So that's a completely different matchup, right? And so I feel perfectly fine with that, right? And so, there's quite a few quarterbacks I would play over Stafford, right? Brissett,
Brissett for sure.
Yeah. So, I think it obviously depends what you have. Like, I have one where it's Rodgers, and I'm kind of like, do I want to make that? So those are the ones that's like, maybe.
Rodgers,
but like,
honestly, dude, I could see Rodgers. He obviously, I know he's not the same Aaron Rodgers, but I could see him playing really well. He's always played well against Detroit. Detroit has a ton of injuries on the defense.
Yep.
I could see. I actually was thinking about that earlier. Is like, dude, Aaron Rodgers and Kenneth Gainwell, I think are smash starts this week. I'm really nervous about Jaylen Warren. Just with the role he's had, but Aaron Rodgers, I think he could do awesome this week. Against Detroit.
So yes, for the long-winded answer is no pass catchers on the Rams outside of Puka, right? Like, I worry a little bit about Kyren too. Like, I made a trade, and then the next a few hours later, I was like, crap, why did I do that this week? Type of thing. And it's like, sometimes you just gotta, push your chips all in.
Went for 91 and a touchdown against Seattle last time. If the weather's bad, like, he should get a ton of work. So hopefully by pure volume, he'll get to the point total you need. I've seen a lot of people debating about whether or not they should start Kyren. I don't really worry about that personally.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not too worried about it, right? I mean, unless you have a staple of like, I don't know, 4 top 6, 4 top 8 running backs. Like, I don't have any of those, so like I don't have the luxury of being like Kyren or Josh Jacobs or Kyren or Saquon. Like, I don't have the luxury of that. But like, outside of those guys, that you shouldn't think about it.
Right. It's like when people are like, you don't want to start HM, but it's like, well, what are you realistically going to do? You're going to start Ty Johnson over him? Like, that's probably a more similar. And it's like, at that point,
that's galaxy brain.
Go for it, dude. Like,
yeah.
All right, a couple injuries on the Bears. Rome Odunze and Luther Burden both haven't practiced yet this week. They're banged up. They play Green Bay. The reason that is more of a concern, less so about those two receivers, more so Caleb Williams. Does that scare you at all for Caleb Williams? I know Green Bay is a good defense. He had his best game last week, Caleb did, but I mean, without 2 of his top receivers, TJ Moore's kind of a shell of himself. Colston Loveland might be in for a nice game though.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I worry about Caleb. Like he didn't put up a ton of points last week, and he had a good game. So I think he's like playing. Their defense is good. So I think a lot of times when your defense is good, that takes away from the fantasy
Hmm.
value of these quarterbacks, right? So and then now add in you're losing Rome Odunze, you're losing Luther Burden. I think especially having Rome out, I think that's kind of what hurt um Caleb like the most last week, right? So another one bad matchup against Green Bay. I think he's in for like another 16 to 20 point max game. So
Me,
same as like
yeah.
Stafford. Like if you have a better option, do it.
Let me ask you a couple gross
Do
hypotheticals
it.
here. Caleb Williams or Gardner Minshew this week?
Woo.
And I got one that's
Woo.
grosser in a minute. So
Yeah, well, I can tell you what I'm doing probably. I'd probably go Gardner Minshew there. That guy's going to throw the ball and
I would
not going to
too.
care at all, right? Probably going to get you're probably going to get a couple interceptions with that, but
Oh
he'll
yeah,
probably get upwards of 200, 250 plus yards and a touchdown or two.
yeah, I think so too. And then the other one I was going to ask was, and I feel bad saying this out loud, but Caleb Williams or Tyler Shuck.
Oh, gosh. Okay. I mean, he's
So
Tyler Shuck's
before
been,
you answer, Shuck's
yeah,
playing the Jets
yeah.
at home.
And
So
he's been playing
like,
well.
and he's been running the crap out of the ball.
Yeah. I might
Um,
do Tyler Shuck. That's a really good matchup.
Honestly, I put Tyler Shuck into a few lineups and I felt
Yeah.
dirty about it. Like I was like, I need to go take a shower after doing this. But like, man, if he helps you win, if he gets you to the finals, like it
I mean,
reminds me a lot of like a couple years ago. When I say a couple years ago, it's probably like 5 now. But like when Mitchell Trubisky went like nuclear in the fantasy playoffs
yeah.
and like won people a bunch of championships back in like what was it, 21 or 22? Like
Go out
the
and
first
buy
year.
Tyler
Yeah.
Shuck. No, don't do that. He's going to
Yeah,
be
don't.
overly priced. You have other better options. I have another one that I have to make a choice of: Kirk Cousins, or I don't really think it's that hard to make this choice, but Kirk or Caleb Williams. Like I'm going Kirk with him playing against Arizona.
I think I am too. It's in the
Yeah.
desert too,
So
right? As a
in a dome,
oh,
right? Good. So
that feels gross.
yeah, it does, right? But
This is the
that
state
team,
of fantasy rosters though, dude. It's like there's
yeah,
like probably like 5 or 6 like premier name quarterbacks that are injured. There's like, guys like Drake London who's supposedly practicing today, but like dude, is he gonna play? Can you trust them? Like, there's a
there's
bunch
no
of
way
like
he's playing.
stars that are out. Like you and like guys like Justin Jefferson, like you can't play him either, right? Like
Yep.
I've heard
Mhm.
in the Discord we were talking about leagues where it's like we're starting Wandale Robinson over Justin Jefferson, which just feels horrible, but it's like it's probably the right move, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just
Yep.
it's nuts.
Drake London just sees Kirk Cousins out there. He's like, no thanks, man. I'm good.
Right? He's like, nah, dude, I'm just gonna collect my paycheck and just sit here. I'm
So
not doing this.
I also don't think they're like, to me, there's not a reason for him to play, right? Just get healthy. I
I just
think they're
think
out
they're
of it.
eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah, right. So I mean, I don't know. You mean if he practiced today, there's probably a good chance he plays. So I don't know.
Ye Yeah, I think Raheem Morris is playing for his job, and I think that would be the only reason
Clearly,
that
yeah, yeah.
he gets in there. All right, let's get into some of the trades that I made quite a few of these this week, trying to win, right? And like some of it, I don't know, you guys can call me crazy. Some of it you can maybe say I'm a genius. I don't know. Probably not that one. Probably I'm a moron, but it is what it is. This first one I'll start here. I sent Brees Hall, Quinshon Judkins, and my 26th first for Christian McCaffrey, Saquon, and Cortland Sutton. Now, obviously, this is pretty win now, right? This team got a bye, and I was favored to win this one, but like I feel like this kind of puts me over the edge to win. And the other thing I will say is that in this league, I had an extra first, and I kept that one. And that extra first is a non-playoff team, so it's going to be the 105. So like I figured I still have a first round pick, even though it's not mine, which is fine. Some of these, I feel like between McCaffrey and Saquon, like that should be enough to help win over because Quinshon Judkins has been quietly very bad the last like month of the season, ever since
He
like
has.
Shitter took over.
He
I
has.
don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's fine. I don't love sending both Brees and Quinshon Judkins, but you have another first in the top 5, top 6, right?
Mhm.
So you can get yourself a younger running back or younger player there.
That was my thought.
Breece Hall hasn't been playing well. Quinshon Judkins hasn't been playing well. Like I don't love the Browns. Like I like Quinshon Judkins, but like the Browns are the Browns, right? So it just you never know. So and then I still think Barkley has some juice. Like I don't think he's just going to fall off the earth, right? I think there's issues in Philadelphia. I think Kellen Moore was a lot better of an offensive coordinator than we all thought, right? And so, and then CMC is, as long as he's healthy, he's going to produce. So,
to be honest, CMC was the one that worried me the most on this trade.
Yes,
just because like I know he's going to be great for the next 2 weeks, but like I don't know what he's going to look like. He's getting there on a lot of volume right now, more so than him just being like super great carrying the ball. Yep. But like,
exactly.
It is what it is. Hopefully I can draft his replacement with a 105 that I also have. Was kind of my thought there. But this other one that's on the screen, and then I think you have one you wanted to get to, but I traded, and this is funny because I crapped on Michael Wilson so much.
Yeah.
But then I traded for him. So this is the league. This is the league. It's start 4 wide receivers, and I lost Devontae Adams, and I really needed them. And this 26 second, it's worst case, right? It's 109 because if I lose this weekend next, right? Worst case, it's the 209. And then I sent Yoshi as a kind of a sweetener. This actually was with Ron the other day, and I sent him the 26 second just for Yoshi or for Wilson, and he said, "Oh, I need something else," and so I gave him Yoshi to kind of sweeten the deal. But I didn't love doing this, but I felt like I kind of had to.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, a late second's a dart throw, right? I know there's always there's players that will be there that are good, but it's sweeter to win your championship, right? And with a start 4, it's tough with wide receivers right now.
Yeah. So like for context, if I didn't trade for someone, I was starting probably Yoshi Voss or Xavier Legette or I don't know. It was getting gross, dude. It was like getting to a borderline. This isn't going to happen kind of a deal. So,
yeah. So I made a win now trade, and also I lost in the first round, so I didn't have my first. So I was like, let's see what I can do to get a first back. So the first one I did was I moved Ken Walker for Derrick Henry and a 26th third. I think the issue with that one, now that I think about it, is I think that team actually just lost Tua. So
you back? Oh, we got little Puka joining us.
Yeah, little Puka's here. So I'm worried about that one now that I'm thinking about it more. I think it's fine, right? We don't know what Ken Walker, right? But I do think there's still some upside to Ken Walker. He's a very good player. So if he goes to another team, it should be pretty good, right? So that's my worry. And then Derrick Henry's a bit older. So, it just depends, right? I think it's more unfortunate that I did this trade and then Tua sucked it up and now he got benched. So,
yeah, it is what it is. The Derrick Henry thing, we can talk about it later. They have a tough slate.
And the schedule's not good
football, and then I think they play at Green Bay next week, and so it's 2 pretty good defenses. That said, like Derrick Henry, like sometimes he gets the ball like 18 times and he falls in the end zone, right? So like that's real, and we know Kenneth Walker can score. So
I don't know. I'm hating it now after like seeing my matchup and what happened to Tua, but I think I made the trade on Monday during the day, if I remember correctly. So
I think you pinged me about it, and that sounds about
right.
Yeah.
And then the other one,
it'll be fine.
I think the other one, I moved CMC. I moved CMC a 27 third and $100 fab for a 26 first, a 26 third and a 27 2. So this is with Simi.
Nice.
So it's just me kind of trying to squeeze as much value out as I could. And at one point I was just like, you know what? Let's just do it. He sent it back with the fab. I was like, all right, whatever. Let's do it. I don't really care about the fab anymore.
The fab at this point in the season.
It doesn't.
Right?
It doesn't roll over. I was like, if you want it, take it. Right. So I think this is fine. Right. I had earlier in the year, I had moved to first for CMC. The first I'm getting back is not my own. So that's unfortunate. So this is the person that I traded with. They're first, so it most likely is going to be late. So
Okay.
not the end of the world, but I think basically I got
I mean,
back what I sent for CMC.
here's the thing. Like, I think the 26 first is nice, and then the extra third and the second you have, especially in 27, like you can use it to make other deals. You don't even have to necessarily sit there and pick it. The 26 first, honestly, and I wonder if this gets done as we get closer in the draft season. This is kind of just me spitballing at the moment, but like if you send the 26 first and the 26 third you just acquired for someone's 27 first, like
Oh,
you can kind of punt that down the road and then you can help your own
smashing
pick
that.
later. Like
Yeah.
I think I don't know if that's gonna get done, but people fall
Those
in
will
love
things.
with players as the draft process comes along, right? And so it could be a thing where it's like right now someone looks at it and goes, I don't want anything to do with 26 first, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, did you see Jordan Tyson went to friggin' I don't know Kansas City, and they're gonna be like, oh my god, I gotta have this guy, right? And it's like or like I don't know, Jadarian Price goes to Kansas City. I don't know. Apparently, Kansas City's the hot spot, and that's on my mind right now. But, yeah, like I think that those picks are going to increase in value as we get closer to the draft. So,
Yep.
Don't hate that at all.
We're gonna go through a ton of trades, everybody. So
Yeah, bear
buckle up.
with us. This is the point, though, right? Just to kind of get an idea of like, okay, these are what people are doing to try to win. Like, if you're in a similar situation, which a lot of us are, right? Like, let's see what we can get done. This top one was kind of gross. I lost in the playoffs last week. I have kind of an older roster, and I need to start rebuilding a little bit. So I sent Matthew Stafford for a 26 second and Jalen Coker. I have a Jalen Coker love, and I'm not afraid to admit it. So that one, I don't know, dude. Like Stafford, in your Rams fan, so I'm interested your take on this. Does it feel like Stafford, especially if they are on track to win the Super Bowl, does this feel like this could be his last kind of hurrah, or do you think he's going to come back?
It's 100% possible. The thing with Stafford,
That was my
is
rationale for this, by the way.
yeah,
Just thinking
like
this might be Stafford the end of him.
I think it's fine, right? Like he's playing out of this world this year, right? Like playing a lot better than most everybody thought. I think he probably will come back next year. Devontae Adams is on I think it's like a 2-year deal or 3-year deal.
Yeah.
So like not much is changing. A lot of their a lot of their good players are under contract, right? Like there probably is some on the defensive side that I'm not thinking about, but for the most part, the team is going to be the same next year. They have 2 firsts. Like there's a lot going for them next year. So, outside of them winning the Super Bowl, I'm pretty confident he does come back for at least one more year. But
Okay.
he's got a crazy wife. So I think you never know. Like
Yikes.
literally at every offseason, like he was supposed to possibly retire last year after the season. Like his wife's something else. And so
Well,
I think it all just depends. It's up in the air.
and I
It's
feel
hard.
like wasn't this the offseason that he was like getting like epidurals?
Yeah.
Because his
He
back was so
started the
jacked up?
season like with a
Yeah.
terrible back, right? Like, and then he has an amazing season. So I
Speaking
really think
from experience, it doesn't get any better.
yeah.
When your back's messed up, it's
Yep.
not going to get better, especially if you're getting sacked by 300-pound linemen. But
Yeah.
you know,
So like in the context of what's happening with the team, like I think it's a lot of things in his corner to come back, but at his age, and if they win the Super Bowl, then it's definitely a possibility.
yeah.
But I think
Okay.
either way, yeah, it doesn't feel good if we know he's coming back, but also like he could fall off the earth next year, right? You never know.
Yeah, I worry. I feel like I kind of needed to start a rebuild process, and I was okay being if I'm going to be, I'm okay being a year early rather than being like too late and holding the bag and just all of a sudden not because at the end of the day I'd rather have the chance at the pick and Jalen Coker than oh crap Stafford retired and I have nothing and I just have to drop him. So that
Yep.
was kind of my thought there. The other trade I did here too. This is the league that I lost Mahomes and Tua in, and I only had Mariota. And so if I didn't do this kind of a trade for a quarterback, I was starting Calvin Austin in my super flex, which did not feel great. So I sent a 27 second for Jacoby Brissett. I don't love that. I will say my team is pretty solid, and I felt like it'll still be good next year, even if Brissett's nothing. And like I said, I don't love doing that. Like, I don't like sending 2 years picks ahead of time, but like I had this particular team was like, was the 1 seed. I felt like I can't just let it die because I had some bad injury luck, and so Brissett's been good, dude. Like, he was still QB1 last week against Houston. So he has Atlanta this week and then Cincinnati next week. And I was like, I feel like this could help me win. I hope I don't regret setting that 27 second, but like
I have to
trying to
be.
win.
I don't like. I don't think like if that was a first, I think it's totally different. But like
Yeah.
having
Yeah, that
the
wouldn't have
first,
happened. Yeah.
like gives you so much flexibility. Like I'm always okay sending like a second, third of another year out, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel great, but like if that puts you over the hump, or if it seems like you had no other quarterback, or if you had one, I think you said it was Mariota, right? So
Mariota.
now you have
Yeah.
you have two quarterbacks, right? And the only thing you're out is 27 second, and Brissett has a great matchup. So I think something like this, right, will put you into that should help you win, and then you're not even going to think about the 27 second.
I'll think about it. It'll haunt my dreams. I had more trades, but I forgot to put them in here. That's fun.
Rapid fire.
When
Ooh,
I did, I
I
sent
like this
James
one.
Cook for Ashton Genty. I got knocked out of the playoffs. Kind of the rationale there, I just did it straight up. I was like getting a little bit younger from Cook to Genty, and I still think Ashton Genty is a great talent. He's just the Raiders are so dysfunctional right now. I feel like it can't. He was still an RB2 despite probably one of the worst offenses in the league. Like I don't think it can get much worse, right? Like I think they can very least they can try to help the offensive line, maybe get a competent offensive coordinator. Maybe they get a new quarterback. That we'll see. I don't know. What do you think about that one? The James Cook for Ashton Genty.
I like it. So I thought James Cook would have a little bit of a fall off this year just from like the amount of touchdowns that he has, but that guy just is a touchdown machine, right? But right here you're banking on Genty's like youth and him. He's a very good running back, right? Just a terrible situation right now. Kind of the same thing as Brock Bowers, right? So like knocked out of the playoffs, like I really don't see any like negative here, right? Like maybe they're right next to each other in the rankings, or maybe a few spots difference or whatever. But like, Genty starts to play well next year, he could be easily a top 3 running back, right? And so I think
that was the hope,
he
right?
has like, fell short on expectations this year, but I don't think it's all his fault. So like, I think there's better days ahead for Genty, and then maybe James Cook is great, for years to come, right? But I still think there's that same upside with Genty.
Yeah, and I always worry too. There's like I know James Cook this is 2 years in a row now where he's scoring touchdowns, but it's like he's gotten a lot of volume this year too. I don't know. He is a little bit smaller though, and I do worry that like how does he handle like a heavy workload over and over and over again? I mean, I think he's going to be great. Honestly, he'll probably outscore Genty again next year, but I do think like there's been flashes where Ashton Genty looks like what we saw out of Boise State, and I still believe in that. And I don't know, we'll see. I felt like I'll take a dice roll on this one and just see what happens.
And like, it's a Raider, right? We do this for fun, and to Adam, like to me, it's so close there that it's like if that was a Ram versus another, like I just go with the Ram. So to me, it's that close in rankings that I'm good with, And again, at the end of the day, this is for fun, right? Like if I can add a Puka, if I can add a Kyren, like that always adds a little bit into my like puts me over the edge a little bit.
You're rooting for that player anyways. You might as well root for him in your fantasy, and then it hurts twice as much when they lose and suck. So I unfortunately have a lot of experience with that one. All right. And then the last one I did here, I actually did it like an hour ago. I sent Brandon Ayuk. I sent my 26th first and a 26th third. And I got AJ Brown. So some context here is probably important. It's a 14-team league, and you start 4 wide receivers. So it's a deep league. AJ Brown has been awesome the last, I don't know, like 3 weeks, ever since he threw a fit, basically. He's been getting a ton of volume, and they play Washington this week, and then I think they play someone equally as bad next week. I remember looking at it when I did the trade, and I was like, this might help me win. I'm in the top 4, right? So like with it being a 14 team league, like worst case, it's like the first round pick is like the 11th overall pick. So I felt better about that. Like especially
They
with
play
it
the
not
Bills.
being as well, maybe that wasn't as
I think
maybe I
it's
made a
still
boo
gonna
boo,
be.
but I think it'll be
It's
fine.
in
Yeah,
it's in Buffalo. Like
oh, that might suck.
it,
Maybe he'll score a
yeah,
touchdown. We'll see what
I
happens.
still think it's fine. Like so, I like this, right? I think basically so with Ayuk, like I don't really know what to think of Ayuk right now, but I've been trying to like sneak him into if I'm moving, if I'm like trying to
Yeah,
add or make a counter. I've been trying to sneak him in. Maybe people think he still like could do something, and then I've also been trying to add him sometimes if I really think like I'll flip switch
yeah.
picks or something, and then I'm like, oh, I see Ayuk on there. I'm gonna add him to that as well, and like most of the time people think he's dead, so like it doesn't matter, right? And either way, if you're moving him or he's coming, like I don't want to say buying because, or if he's added into a trade package, like there's still upside there if he does get traded, move to a different team, gets his head out of his ass, whatever it is. Like there's still he was a good wide receiver, but I don't
It's
know
up
if any of
there,
those
man.
things will happen. So I'm not saying go out and buy him. I'm just saying like I've been like trying to sneak him in or like you know throw him into a trade package.
Yeah, I kind of think Ayuk's dead, dude. Like,
Yeah, no, I mean, there's times I think about it and I'm like, yeah, he's done for, or like, yeah, like so for me, it's just like it's a no, like I'm not expecting anything, right? Like I'm with you there. Like I think Ayuk's done. Like clearly there's something going wrong, right? And so I don't think he's gonna play for San Francisco anymore. So obviously it would have
no.
to be on another team. And so like but yeah, so for this, it's like you're moving to 26 first and 26 third, and then Ayuk obviously is in there as well. But like for me, I would have done it even with the first and third.
Yeah, I tried to do the original offer was like they sent me Ayuk and my 27 first, and I kind of flatlined. Was like, no, I can do it. I can do a 26 first, and then he countered with the 1, and then he added a 3 for 26. And I was like, yeah, fine, whatever. With it being a 14 team league, that third round pick is basically like a fourth. Like
Yeah.
we're talking like I don't know, like 50 picks deep at that point. So I was like, okay, whatever. I don't really care. Yeah, man, I don't know. So those are some of the moves that we made, trying to get some wins done. Sometimes it feels a little gross, but sometimes it's like if you can just get that one extra little boost to a spot in your lineup to help you win, like it's worth it, right? Like,
Yep.
You do it for fun ultimately, and then if you create a problem for yourself next year, that's a future you problem. But hopefully you don't.
I know.
Hopefully
I
none of
know.
these
I
bites
did.
get in the butt too bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I did a better job of like keeping track, but I know I shot myself in the foot by doing some of these things last year.
Yeah.
But I think I had a pretty good year last year in winning some leagues. So like at the end of the day, if you were winning some of these, like it all works out.
I was gonna say, I think as long as like even if like one or two of them help you win, like I think it's worth it. And
Yep.
hopefully you're like if you're sending like seconds and like older, assets or like whatever, I don't think it's gonna hurt you too bad. At least that's the
Exactly.
hope. We'll see. All right, I wanted to talk about just some potential. We talked about we made some trades for some of these guys, right? Like CMC, right? And then Jonathan Taylor. If you are in your league and you're like, dang it, I need a running back. Like maybe I lost Achan or didn't like lose Achan, but now all of a sudden you don't feel good about him. Like Jonathan Taylor, you probably got to send 2 firsts for him, right? And like, would you do that? Would you send your 26 first and 27 first for Jonathan Taylor right now if you're in the semifinals?
No, I mean, first I'll just say this: you're asking the wrong person just because I don't like trading firsts and stuff for or
Okay.
multiple firsts for a running back. I don't like doing
I
it for any
would though.
player, but if that puts me like so I just had this thought of like, okay, if I have Achan, right, and my team's probably in a pretty good spot, if you had a buy, like, would you go and like if whoever has Jonathan Taylor, they're out of the playoffs, would you try to do a Achan for Jonathan Taylor swap? And if so, do you think you need to add to Achan?
I don't think you need to add the Achan.
Okay, then the other side was, would you do it straight up?
Man.
and And why I asked and bring that up is like I don't really think Jonathan Taylor is
And I
two
hate
like
that.
equal to firsts, but where we are in the semifinals, things like that, trying to make trades right now,
So
like I think I'd do that if I could get Jonathan Taylor, right, and I'm moving to HN. Like there are some worries about HN, and there are also plenty of worries with Jonathan Taylor. So like I would
here,
honestly feel more comfortable with moving that than sending two firsts.
here's my concern. See, I wouldn't
I
want to
think you
send
would do the
HN
other
for
way. Yeah.
JT. I would do the other way around. And my
Yeah.
concern about that is HN is such a good pass catcher that like he has baked in PPR points of like probably good like 5 points a game just from catching. Now, not to say Jonathan Taylor doesn't. Like he's a good, but they don't use him that way as much as they do HN. And that's my only hesitation there. I would much rather light my picks on fire than a known good asset in HN.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we might differ a little bit. Is that like I don't know. I could have used that 26. If this say it was last year, I could have used that 25 first on freaking Matthew Golden and just shot myself
Yeah.
in the foot. You know what I mean? Like, there's no guarantee that player is going to be good. On the flip side, it could have been. I mean, hell, you probably took Achan in like the back of the first in
Yeah.
his rookie class. So like, yeah, it's
Yeah. I
man,
mean,
that's tough.
there's no
I don't
like
think
I
you can
think
go wrong either way,
yeah,
but
that's what I was gonna say. Like I think that's where Jonathan Taylor is right now. I think CMC is closer to like a first and a second, right? Kind of like what I've
yeah.
my trade. Obviously, your trade is a little bit bigger with a more pieces to it, right? And then Saquon, like I know both those like matchups are pretty friendly, but I'm still a little worried about him, like just with how the whole offense has been going this year.
The offense has been bad, but like I don't know. Last week against the Raiders, they just kind of let Saquon do his thing. They get
Finally,
Washington this week, and then Buffalo, who can't stop the run. So, like, I think Saquon could win some people some leagues this year. I think if you do it, I feel better to just like age wise sending a first plus something for Saquon rather than a
then
first
CMC,
and
yes,
then CMC just because CMC's he's getting older. Like he's still producing, but like eventually, man, the wheels are gonna fall off.
yep,
Like he's not Derrick Henry, right? Like where he can just keep going forever. And of course, now that I say that, he probably will be still producing in like 3 years, and we'll be talking about him. But like, I man, I don't know. Like I feel better with Saquon than I do, and
yeah,
part of it, I think Philly will figure out that offense next year, and I think Saquon will has a chance to kind of bounce back to what he, not to exactly what he was last year. I think last year was a career season for a reason, but like I think he can be a top 5 running back again next year. Whereas I have a lot of worry if Christian McCaffrey can do this again next year.
yep. I think we always worry about that, right? Like I feel like he can get in. CMC can get injured at any time. You know what I mean? Like obviously
Yeah.
any player can, but like to me, the last couple of years, mainly the last 2 years, he's dealt with quite a bit of injuries. Like yes, this year he's been healthy. Hopefully he's gotten over that little bit of a injury bug a bit. But like for me, I would much rather take it like trade for Saquon than CMC.
Yeah, and I think the difference too, like so, like just looking at some of the running back rankings on Fantasy Calc, like McCaffrey's, running back 8, he's 29 and a half years old. Below that's Bucky Irving, right? Running back 9, 23 and 23 years old. Like if both of those running backs, and I hope this doesn't happen, but say they both tear their ACLs tomorrow, like Bucky, his value is gonna not drop nearly as dramatically, right? Because he's so much younger. With McCaffrey, once they start getting over probably like 28 years old, people start to think of them differently. And whether it's right or wrong, right? If they have one like ACL injury, their value just dramatically just poops itself. Whereas
Yeah.
like a running back and it's like 23, 24, 25, like people would be like, he's still young enough, whatever, he can bounce back. And whether it's right or wrong, it's just how people naturally perceive it. So like that is the danger that you inherit when you start sending away picks for some of these older vets. But
Yep. Yeah. A couple other guys you have on here, Wandell and JMO. I think they're both, smashes over the next 2 weeks, right? They both have really good matchups. I think JMO certainly like you get Pittsburgh and you get Minnesota, right? Like awesome. And then even Wandell, you get Minnesota and then you get the Raiders, right? And Wandell's been great. Slot merchant, right? I think also I think he is Jackson Dart's favorite target, right? So for me,
100%.
I know you talked about it earlier. Like I don't know if I could click the button to put Wan'Dale Robinson over Justin Jefferson. Like I just don't know
Well,
if I could do it.
the good news is if you have Jefferson, you probably aren't in the semifinals
Yeah.
anyways, because he's probably burned you before you got here. But
Yes.
but yeah, I think you have to though. Like
Yeah.
if you're in that situation and like it's gonna feel gross, but I think you got to close your eyes and kind of swallow your medicine there. Um, the other one I want to talk about, Marcus Mariota, Philly this week isn't the greatest, right? I know Philly's kind of had some up and down on defense, but I think he'll be fine enough, but like the big one is like he gets the Cowboys on Christmas Day. I think he's in for just
Big boy.
a Christmas miracle big day there next week. So if you get through with Mariota, I think he can help win you your championships next week. And
Wild
then
to say that.
JMO, dude, like he's been a top 12 wide receiver the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
He gets to play at home in the dome the next 2 games. Like he's just been awesome. I think he could win you some leagues too. I'm not sure what it would take to get. You probably got to send a first and probably a little extra to get him. Don't you think at this point? Like I don't think a
For
first
JMO,
alone is going to
definitely.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so
which is
because
sad.
he's kind of rising, right? And there was a couple weeks where he was, very pedestrian. But
Mhm.
he's playing really well. I think this is going to be more like it, especially their defense is not quite as good. It's mainly their secondary, the Lions, right? So they're going to have to score a lot of points to stay in it. I don't know if they're out of it. I think they are, but I think they might be still hanging on, like
They have a
very
fighting
slim.
chance, especially if
Yeah,
they win. They can.
yeah. So
It's,
and
they need some help, but yeah,
I know Pittsburgh's defense looked all world on Monday night, but they're not, right? I still think the wide receivers can
especially the
play well.
slot. They've gotten
Yeah.
destroyed by slot receivers.
Yeah.
I think it was Jamar Chase that Thursday night game where he had like 18 receptions or something
That's right.
ridiculous for
Yeah.
200 yards,
Yeah.
right? Like it is what it is. So we'll see.
Yep.
Question: would you send Roma Dunze straight up for JMO?
Holy crap.
Everyone knows my feelings on Rome, so it's not gonna surprise you. My answer is yeah. Rome can get off my
Yeah.
roster if I had him, but like I'm curious what you think.
That one's tough.
Is it a spicy meatball?
I'm gonna stick with Rome. I don't have many shares,
Okay,
so
that's fair.
I'm probably being a phony here, but I think I'd stick with Rome. Like I
Okay.
still think he's that wide receiver one in Chicago. So and I think
I
DJ Moore's on
mean,
his way out, right? So I do think there are issues with Rome. I just think,
yeah.
I, I would
I,
take Rome over JMO straight up.
I'll say this tongue in cheek, but Rome was out last week, and Caleb Williams had his best game of his career. So it's like, is it a coincidence? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
Thankfully, I don't
Okay.
have to make many of those decisions because if I have JMO, I'm keeping them. And if I have any Rome, it's not many. So I don't really need
Yeah,
more JMO.
I don't think I have any more Rome left. I think I sold
Yeah.
all mine to I just traded them all away to the stranded in our Discord, who's a resident Rome truther. So
That's why I said, "Oh
um
my god," because I was like, "Wait a second, have you brought this up anywhere else yet?" Because if you haven't,
not yet, but I'm
I
sure
gotta
I'm about
say
to
it's
get an
something.
offer.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Some potential landmines. I think this is where a couple guys I
makes
think
me hurt.
could screw you, but Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, right? And it's mostly the schedule. Um, Lamar hasn't really been the same since he came back from injury. He's not really running a ton. They play New England on Sunday Night Football. New England's had a good pass defense. Then they play Green Bay next week in the championship game. And I said this earlier in the Discord, and people kind of called me crazy, and maybe I am. We'll see. But I benched a couple of Mars, and I actually don't think I admitted this, but I think I said I did it once. I did it twice actually. I benched two of Mars for JJ McCarthy this week, and I have no regrets. We'll see next week if I have those
Man,
regrets. But dude, I don't
it's
know.
tough. Like those are the type of decisions though that win you the semifinal. Like
It's for
most
glory,
people
dude.
are like, "No way, I would never sit." Lamar Jackson type of thing. But if you looked at the games and watch him play, like he does not look healthy. He's not the same
Doesn't
Lamar
look the same.
Jackson, right? And then on the flip side here, like with Derrick Henry, they're bad matchups, right? Like
Hmm.
I think you even told me when I was asking you about that trade, it's like I don't know, he doesn't have very good matchups, So, I think I fudged up, but that's okay. We live on for another day. So, but yeah, I mean, that's rough. New England and Green Bay, and they were also not playing very well, right? Derrick Henry's, been pretty up and down. But Lamar Jackson has not been good. He's been very pedestrian.
And then the other one I want to talk about too is Jaylen Warren. Like over the last few weeks, feels like their roles. I don't know. Last week was wonky because he was sick, but like their roles between him and Kenneth Gainwell the last couple of weeks have been pretty defined, right? Like Warren's getting the rushing work, he's getting the goal line work, which is great. Like if he falls in the end zone, you're gonna be happy. If he doesn't, you're probably gonna be pretty sad. Kenneth Gainwell's getting all the receiving work. These next 2 weeks for Jaylen Warren, like, and I feel bad because like I love Jaylen Warren, but like they play Detroit, who has a good run defense, and then they play the Browns. Would you trade him? Oh God, I don't know. For David Montgomery straight up for the next 2 weeks.
I feel like Montgomery doesn't have good matchups either, but in terms of the running,
yeah.
But yeah, I would move Warren for David Montgomery.
What about Tyron Tracy? Or would you try to get a plus there?
I'd try to get a plus. I mean, just because I know like Jaylen Warren is, he just signed a new contract. Like I think Gainwell is just playing well right now, right? And so they're giving him the ball. It's the hot hand, right? And well, of course he's playing well. They're probably going to re-sign him, et cetera. He'll be there next year. But like I still believe in Jaylen Warren, right? So I think right now it's just like give the ball to the hot hand. And also it's tough with Aaron Rodgers, right? Things change like all the time with Aaron Rodgers. I understand it's Mike Tomlin, but it's still Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers is probably gone next year, so this offense is completely different. So we don't know. I don't want to read too much, and I don't want to overreact, right? But it's just like Jaylen Warren. I don't feel I have a few lineups where I'm like I don't even necessarily want to throw him in my lineup, but I'm just gonna kind of hope he scores basically. Otherwise, yeah, we could be looking at a loss. But
yeah.
That said, that's all I had. I know next week obviously is Christmas. We probably won't have an episode with it being Christmas Eve on Wednesday, but we'll try to put out an article or some kind of content for everyone. So take a look, stay on the lookout for our social medias. Good luck in all of your semifinals. Hopefully you have some good luck. Hopefully no more injuries. Some of these teams, dude, are just skating by with just struggling to field a lineup with some of these injuries. So hopefully it goes well, and we'll enjoy some good football this week. But
let's go.
All righty. Peace out, everybody. Appreciate you joining in, and we'll catch you on the next one.